Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today I'm actually finally going to sit down and talk about my most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. I will leave a link somewhere for my first half of the year, but today I'm talking about everything that comes out from July onwards. I have a lot of books on here that I'm highly anticipating. Can't wait to get to some of these. I don't want this video to be too long, and I'm also kind of tired, so I'm not going to be giving full synopses for these books. Just basically going to talk about what drew me and made me interested in picking these books up in the first place. If you want to know more, look it up on Goodreads. Before I forget, publishing dates are incredibly subjective, as you will see later on in this video. These are the most recent dates for these books to be published. First book I'm very interested in is Wilder Girls by Rory Powell. This is not a book I would typically pick up. This is young adult horror / maybe apocalyptic fiction. I really like apocalyptic fiction, but I'm not really ever interested in horror. However, this features a remote setting in a boarding school where this outbreak has occurred, and these girls are essentially quarantined in this place for a very long time. But then our main character actually goes outside and risks it all because of someone she very much cares for. This is supposed to be super queer. The cover is stunning. I'm very interested in this book. It seems very weird, but like up my alley of weird, so really excited for it. I just realized I'm probably going to say I'm excited for all of these reads. My apologies. Oh, also, it comes out the day I'm filming this, July 9th. The next book I have my eye on is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno. This is set to be coming out July 23rd, and it's a relatively newer book that I've recently started anticipating. First of all, I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous. The book is actually historical fantasy. It takes place, I think, around 1920s Mexico, and it follows this main character who does something to basically anger the Mayan god of death, and she has to complete some sort of quest to like right everything. This is supposed to be a Hades and Persephone retelling, which love. Cannot wait to read for that. I just have heard a lot of really positive things as of late, and this is a standalone. This also happens to be Own Voices for Mexican rap. My most anticipated release of the year comes out on August 6th. I've talked about it quite a few times as of late, and it is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I am so excited to read this book. This is the upcoming sequel to The Poppy War. I'm actually rereading The Poppy War in preparation for The Dragon Republic. I should have a review being posted in the upcoming weeks. I'm just ready to discuss this series at length, find out what happens next. Can't wait for this story. The next book on my list, I think, is my only middle grade, and it's Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. This is set to come out September 23rd. It is the sequel to City of Ghosts, which is a middle grade story that I had a lot of fun with last year. And it follows this young girl who essentially can go into this like other version of the world and like see ghosts and what remains. This installment is actually set in France. It's Victoria Schwab, so I'm pretty much always going to be interested in what she writes. I'm also really anticipating Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Sorry, I forget the last name of the author. This is supposed to be coming out on September 10th, and this book has been getting all the hype all the time and basically everywhere. This is an adult fantasy / science fiction. I believe there's some space involved, about a lesbian necromancer. I'm pretty sure there is a romance in here. I've read the synopsis a couple times and I have no idea what's going on, but I'm going with blind faith. I hope BookTube doesn't steer me wrong. I'm also not 100% sure if this book has Own Voices rep in here. I think it does, but I'm not entirely sure. The next book on my list also comes out September 10th, but I happen to be incredibly skeptical. I don't actually know if I can officially say I'm anticipating this story, but I thought I'd mention it here. It's The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. The Handmaid's Tale is a book that I would consider to be in my top 5 favorite books of all time. And I'm very nervous, very skeptical. I'm in the camp of people who really enjoyed the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending of The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm just very interested to see how things are supposed to pick up from there. I'm also nervous because I think this means I officially have to do a reread of The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to love it as much as I did reading it 4 years ago. Wow. Apparently this is supposed to take off moments after the ending of the first one, and there's supposed to be 3 narrators, so we'll see. My next release is one of my most anticipated of the year, and it's Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is supposed to come out on October 1st. This is Leigh Bardugo's first foray into the adult genre. I think that her writing and stories actually are very well suited, or would be very well suited, to adult, so I'm excited. This is entirely separate from the Grishaverse. This takes place, I believe, at Yale, and I think there's supposed to be some paranormal fantasy things start happening, and our main character starts discovering secret societies. And I'm doing a terrible job selling you on this book, but I frankly don't know too much about it. It's Leigh Bardugo. It's adult fantasy or paranormal, so I'm sold. The next book I also am planning on checking out also comes out October 1st. It's The Criers War by Nina Varela. I believe this is a young adult debut, and it's got an interesting synopsis. It essentially follows 2 types of peoples. One are human and the others were made. They're literally titled Made by humans, and I believe these Made had an uprising, and humans are now the ones at the bottom of society. And this follows 2 characters, one Made and one human, who I believe start falling in love for each other, and their love, I think, helps start a huge fat war. All I know is that there's war and that there's a female-female romance, and apparently that's all I need to pick up a story. The cover is beautiful. A lot of people have been really talking this book up lately, so it has made it onto my list. I've also been officially sold on The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I was initially kind of skeptical about this book. I liked The Night Circus, but not to the level that most people like it. Some reviewers I really trust have really highly enjoyed it, and so I'm doing it. I've actually already pre-ordered this, which is strange for me to pre-order so much in advance, but I did it. Happily anticipating it. I'm just personally glad I don't have as much riding on this book like so many others do. I know so many people that are nervous about it, and I hope it's good, basically for their sakes. My final book on this list proves that publishing can change on a dime, and that's Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. And this is coming out December 3rd. This is the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone, which I did really enjoy last year. I'm not sure if I would enjoy it as much now. I think I maybe lent into the hype a little bit, but I am still anticipating the sequel. This was supposed to come out in March of this year, and then June, and now December. For a while, I was still skeptical it was going to come out December 3rd, but we now officially have a very gorgeous cover, and things seem to be pointing to an actual December 3rd release. It's the sequel to a story I very much enjoyed. I think this book is going to be very telling of whether or not I'm really going to love the series as a whole, because I did enjoy the first one, but there were some elements that I think were flawed. I know some people have kind of turned on this story, and a lot of people think it's overhyped, but I'm still very interested to see where the story goes. The magic was very unique. I could use a refresher. Hopefully there's some sort of recap. So that is it for my most anticipated releases of 2019. Please let me know down in the comments below what your most anticipated release for the second half of the year is. I always am looking for more books to look forward to in the future. And yeah, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you again very soon. Bye!